I'm Miss Kara at the Orland Park Public Library, and today we're going to do a program called Read, Investigate, Discover Nature. I was so excited when we planned this program because originally we were going to do it in person, and we were going to use all kinds of different science tools to get a closer look at nature. So we're adapting, we're changing, and today we're going to talk about a couple of books that explore nature, and then I'm going to share with you some tools that we can use to get a real good close-up look at nature. So let's get started with our books. Up first, we have Step Gently Out. This book is by Helen Frost and Rick Leader. It is an illustrated poem, and the illustrations are photographs. I like this book because you get to look at really close-up pictures of insects. I just think this is beautiful with the sun coming through the flower. Here you can see the little pollen packs on the back legs of this honeybee. Look at this beautiful moth. So this book, we have a couple copies available at the library. It's called Step Gently Out by Helen Frost. Up next, we have a fun one to share with your younger children and friends. It's called A Closer Look. It's by Mccarthy. She did both the words and the illustrations. And this one is really fun because it's almost like a guessing game. Ready? So on the first page it says, look! And then what do you see? You have any guesses what this could be? It's a ladybug. Look at that. So the whole book does this thing where it starts really close to an object and then it slowly backs away and backs away until you can see what you were looking at. And in this case, we were looking at a flower. This one I just think is beautiful. I love the illustrations, and it's kind of a fun one if you haven't read it before to kind of guess at what you're looking at before you get the whole picture. Our last book is called Raindrop's Roll by April Pulley Sayre. April Pulley Sayre almost always writes about the world around us. She's one of my favorite authors. And this book, she did the words and the illustrations, and this one is also illustrated with photographs. Look at this little frog curled up in this leaf, getting ready for the rain. So one of the fun things about this book that I really like is that April will take a picture of a big thing. So we have the whole sky here and just the edge of this tree and this bird. So she's taking a picture of something from really, really far away. And then in the next page, we take a picture next to something that we're really close to. So we zoom way in. And here we're taking pictures of bugs, right? So a firefly, and then there's a fly, and a little grasshopper. And then we zoom out again, and we can see the tree and all the rain. And then we're gonna zoom in again, and we're gonna focus on this poor wet bird in the forest. Look at how wet he is. Poor thing. Makes me glad we know how to use an umbrella. So when scientists want to look at something up close, sometimes they use tools. And I have a couple tools here that I'm gonna share with you. One you may be familiar with, and one that might be brand new to you. So let's start with this one. Do you know what this is? Have you seen one of these before? This is called a magnifying glass. And the word magnify means to make bigger. So when you look through the lens of this magnifying glass, whatever you are looking at will appear much larger than it is in real life. And magnifying glasses come in different magnification strengths and different sizes. So you could have a whole collection of magnifying glasses that are a little bit different. And these are really great if you want to take close-up looks at plants or insects, although sometimes it's hard to get insects to stay still, isn't it? And those are actually not too expensive, and they're fun to have around the house. One of the things I like to do in the winter is to take some black paper outside and catch snowflakes and then look at them through a magnifying glass. It's pretty easy and it's a lot of fun. Now our next tool, I'm very excited to share with you. We originally got this tool because we were going to do this program here at the library in person, and I was so excited to share this with all of you. And I'm hoping that in the future we will have the opportunity for you to come in and try this out. Are you ready? Are you ready? Here we go. Do you know what this is? This is called a microscope, right? And this is a tool that scientists use to look at things that are sometimes too small that you could see them even with your eyeball. They're so small, a magnifying glass can't even see them. So we're going to put this down and we're going to take a closer look, and then we'll get a chance to look through the eyepiece and see some stuff that's been magnified. Before we take a look at that though, I want to tell you about how you use a microscope. So when you want to look at something through a microscope, you don't just put it right on the microscope. You have to put it on a special piece of glass called a slide. I don't know if you can see this because it's not very thick, but if you were going to use your microscope, you would put some water or some oil on, and then you would put the thing that you want to look at on that. And then there's another tiny little piece that goes over top, another piece of glass. And the reason you do this is so that when you're done, you just have to clean up this piece of glass. You don't have to clean up the whole microscope. And sometimes when scientists want to look at stuff that doesn't have a lot of color on its own, they'll add dye to the object. So dye is like a paint that never washes off. So you can imagine you don't want to use that on your microscope. Okay, so we're going to get a closer look at this tool, and then we will look inside the eyepiece to see all the different cool things that I've collected for us to look at from outside, okay? All right, let's do it. So we're gonna take a closer look at this microscope. A microscope has lots of different parts, and I'm gonna show you what they are. This is called the eyepiece, and up here we have a little lens cap, and that keeps dust from getting down in there. And when you're using the microscope, you look in here to see what's happening down here. This piece here is called the stage, and that is where you would put your slides with all the stuff you want to look at on. These two clips here will hold down your slide, okay? And then this is the on-off switch, right? So this is the base of the microscope, this is the base plate, and this is how we turn it on. So there's two ways that we can turn it on. We can turn it on this way. Whoop, we can turn it on this way, which turns the light on from underneath, and then you can look at the light coming through your object this way. Or turn it off, and then we'll turn it on this way, and there's a light that comes down from the top. And if you look at it with the light from the top, it looks completely different. So we'll get a chance to look at something using both lights there. So these are the objectives, and these are the different lenses that will magnify whatever's on your stage, on your slide, different magnifications. So here you can see on each one it's got a number. So this is 4x, so this is a 4 times magnification. And this one is a 40x, so that's a 40 times magnification. And then over here, let's see, I think this one is 10 times magnification. Okay, so this is our hand wheel, and this moves your stage up and down. And the reason you would have to move the stage is sometimes you're looking through here and whatever you're looking at on your slide is blurry. So you would move the stage to bring it in or out of focus. Let's see, this is called the nose piece, and that's where all of your objective lenses are connected. This is the arm. This is the handle. Not every microscope has a handle. If you ever have a science class where you have a microscope, your teacher's going to ask you to carry it by the arm and then support it by the base, because we don't want to accidentally drop a microscope. If we do that, we could break something, and we don't want to break our microscope. It's a very handy tool for us to use. So I'm going to turn it around so you can see what it looks like on the other side. right? So this little thing here will increase or decrease our light from underneath. So if you turn it this way, it makes the light dimmer, and if you turn it that way, it makes the light brighter. And sometimes, so we're going dim, and then we're going bright. Sometimes what you're looking at on your microscope is alive. And if your light is too bright, it doesn't hold still. It's trying to get away from that light. I've got the microscope out. We're looking through the eyepiece. I've put a slide on the object stage, and I'm using the hand wheel to adjust so that we can bring our object into focus. And here it goes. Here, oh, do you see that? Oh my goodness. Do you see what that is? That is the skin of an onion, magnified so many times. That's pretty cool. Let's see what else we can see. Okay, I've got another one up on the object stage. Let's see what we can see. Oh, do you see it's a different color than the last one? Let's go ahead and see if we can get that into focus by using our hand wheel to move the object stage. Well, that's the wrong way. Let's go this way. Oh, it's starting to come into focus. Oh, there we go. There we go. Can you guess what that is? That is the stem of a plant that has a woody outside stem, and then it has a porous inside stem. And the green part that you're seeing is the tissue of the plant that's been dyed. And then all of those white holes, that's how the plant moves nutrients through the stem. That is pretty cool. Okay, I've got one more plant to show you. Okay, so this is a cotton plant. And this one has got a completely different structure on the inside. Before, with our last plant, it had two different sizes and shapes of plant cells on the inside, but these look like a collection of bubbles. If you've ever blown bubbles in your milk, that's what that looks like. And again, that empty space, that white space, is where the plant is moving nutrients from the ground and into the plant tissue, which is pretty neat. All right, my last one that I'm going to show you, I'm very excited for, so hang tight. Okay, here we go. Putting the last one on right now. Oh, I can see it moving. Let's see if we can get it into focus. Let's see what we can see. You have any guess what that might be? That's a feather. Now I'm going to pull it back out of focus so I can move the lens. We're going to look at it at a higher rate of magnification. Okay, so I've switched the lenses, the objective lenses, and we're looking at it at a higher rate of magnification, and I'm just going to see if I can get it to focus really good for us. It's so interesting to me how up close a feather looks soft, but when you look at it through a magnifying glass, you can see it's got all these tiny rough hairs on it. All right, I want to change the light source. So instead of looking at it from below, I want to look at it with the light from above. There we go. All right. Look at all those crisscrossing fibers in the feather. What do you think that might be for? Do you think maybe that helps to catch the air? Or maybe it acts as insulation? Who knows? Well, an ornithologist would know, but I don't know. Well, that's all I've got for our Investigate, Discover, Explore Nature. I hope you had fun using some scientific tools. and I hope that you take the time to go outside and take a closer look at the world around you. Have a great day.